Feeling sad and empty. Hi, my name is Chrissy. I'm an intuitive psychic life coach, and in this video I just want to talk to you about ways that you can start to fill yourself up if you are feeling sad, empty and lost. Now, these are very common places for people to find themselves. Life can be very challenging, and sometimes we go through patches where we are emotionally challenged, whether that be through grief, sadness, loss. You could just split up with somebody, separate, have a divorce, even break up and be heartbroken. So many things can cause these feelings and emotions that can lead to this real empty void inside of us. And it is very, very hard sometimes to fill that void. Now, when this happens to you, it can be very painful and it can cause your body to close down, and I call it contractions, but it's about your body starts to literally sort of cave in. Now, what you're wanting to do is open up. Now, I don't mean just literally, I mean in your whole life, but you've got to actually start with your body at first, because these things start to stay in our body and they can cause a lot of pain as well. So the emptiness and the feelings that we're going through, you have to actually sort of work through them. So you've got to actually find things in your life that can keep you very, very busy and get your mind onto other things. Now, I've got a lot of videos that can help you around these subjects to make these changes, because you've got a lot of life to live. You can't stay in those sad, lost, empty places, because it is so uncomfortable and it can actually take you to some real dark places that you don't want to be going. So you've got to actually start to look at, well, how can I fill these voids and the empty spaces that I might be feeling in my body. It's almost like you've got bubbles floating around there that are hollow and empty, and that's how this can feel. So you've got to start to look at the things that are going to fill you up. Now, I talk an awful lot, I know, and you probably get sick of it in my videos, about getting back to your passions and your real creativity. So sometimes we've got to look at our life and go, what are the things that make me feel good? Now, it might be just as simple as that you love a certain type of music, and when you play that music, it creates a feeling within you and it ignites your soul and it takes you to a happy place, because it could take you back to a memory. And these are the kind of things that you have to start looking at. These are the tools that can start to fill those bubbles. If we think of them as empty bubbles in our body, these are the ways that you do it. I personally love dogs. Dogs is something that fills my heart and it fills that empty void that I've experienced in my life. So that's an example of another thing that can fill somebody up. So you've got to start to look at, what will fill me up? What are the things that I love that ignite my soul and that bring me to life and give me so much joy? Now, this might take a little bit of time for you to stumble on them, but you will eventually start to get back to your true passions and the things that will make you feel happy again. Now, when you're sad, lost, grieving, any of these things, it is very hard to think that you will ever get back to a happy feeling place, but you can do this. And by making those changes and changing the way that we're feeling, you will start to see things change on the outside as well. Now, I can guarantee you, if you start to create this feeling in your body where you're filling yourself up, things will start to change. And I know that sounds so ridiculous, that something so simple as finding your passions and keeping yourself very, very busy and distracted, things will start to come into your life. I remember I went through a very difficult patch and I took up karate, and that was one of the best things I had ever done, because it was good for my mind, body and spirit. And it got me very distracted, and I was doing that with my daughters, so it was something that we shared and we had a really special bond over that. You might have other things that you're wanting to do with your life. You might have a passion that you've always wanted to do and you've sort of put off doing, but you don't know that when that experience happens, that could lead you to somewhere else, and that could bring joy back into your life. So you've also got to remain open and allow things into your experience as well. So look, the best way when you're suffering emptiness, sadness, grief, loss, is to start to fill those little bubbles that I talk about inside of you with things. Keep busy, keep distracted. Do the things that you love, because that will fill that heart space. If you're suffering heartache or pain in your heart, they're the things that do it. Like I said, my dog, I've got 2 now, they fill my heart with so much joy. Yes, I love my kids, but dogs love, and the love of pets is like nothing else. Patting a pet can fill that void in you for an older person, for example. So these are just little ideas and ways. I've got many other things and many other videos on YouTube that can help you around these subjects as well, around grief and heartbreak and things, because it's a very painful place. When your body is shutting down and you're feeling these voids inside, it is very painful, and it can be very distracting to your mind, and knowing how to do this is not easy sometimes when you're consumed by your thoughts. So you've also got to learn, and that's something else I talk about, is to live in the now. That is very important when it comes to your health and your well-being. Learning to live in the now will stop you from worrying about the future, and it'll stop you from carrying lots of angst and horrible feelings that might be in your past. Really start to practice living in the moment and living in that now. And that's why creativity and passions work so well, because they distract your mind and you can only focus on one thing. It's like when people, for example, I love gardening. People talk about gardening. When you're digging in the garden, putting flowers in or whatever you're doing, it's very hard to think of other things because your mind is so distracted. It's the same with exercise. When you're exercising, you're so busy working out and you've got your music on, it's very hard to think of anything else. So for that hour or whatever you are at the gym or whatever you're doing, your mind's nowhere else. So that's a very healthy place to be. And that's why being in the now is always talked about as such a healthy and healing place. So look, thanks for watching my channel. Like I said, I've got many videos. If you'd like to leave some comments or ask me some questions, I'd love some feedback. And hit those like buttons, because that always helps. Please subscribe, and I will see you in that next video. Bye.